Welcome. My name is John Piper, Fire Chief of Coon Rapids. I would like to welcome you to the ribbon cutting for the Hanson Boulevard Overpass project. Today marks the culmination of years of efforts by many people. This project, from the beginning, has been about safety. In an emergency, seconds count. In order to make a positive difference on the outcome, it is the goal of first responders to get to the scene of the emergency as quickly and safely as possible. This location has long been a challenge in our community to get to those calls quickly. In 2014, a feasibility study was done by Bolton and Mink to determine if an underpass or overpass was needed at this location. The study determined that, quote, "This crossing has one of the highest exposure rates in the state due to high traffic volumes and competing with the busiest segment of rail in the state," unquote. At that time, there were 12,500 vehicles and an average of 81 trains a day, causing the crossing to be blocked for up to 3 hours per day. The study recommended a bridge be built over this railway crossing for improved public safety emergency response times, along with safety improvements for motorists, pedestrians, and bicycles. In the fall of 2014, I addressed my concerns with then Commissioner of Public Safety, Mona Dolman, and she forwarded them on to the governor's office. In November of 2014, Governor Dayton convened a Minnesota Rail Summit. I attended the meeting and conveyed my concerns of this crossing to the governor. The next month, on December 22nd, Governor Dayton came to Coon Rapids for a roundtable discussion to hear local railroad safety concerns. In 2015, both the House and Senate Capital Investment Committee tours came to Coon Rapids to learn more about the proposed project. During the 2017 legislative session, this project was included in the bonding bill. The bill passed, the governor signed it, and this project became reality. Today we celebrate this new piece of safety infrastructure in our community. Next, you'll hear from a few people that were involved in making this project happen. The first person I'd like to introduce is the Speaker of the House, Melissa Hortman. She continually supported this project for Coon Rapids. Madam Speaker.
Thank you for coming.
Well, I have a total soft spot in my heart for firefighters, so when Chief Piper came asking for us to support this project, that was a no-brainer. But beyond that, beyond the soft spot I have in my heart for firefighters, this is really a good day for the people of the city of Coon Rapids. So many people in the city of Coon Rapids live so close to the railroad. And we know that there's a lot of freight move through this passageway that we want to keep it moving through and not block the way of the people who live here. And I want to thank Governor Walz. He's committed to a big bonding bill this year, a good bonding bill, just like his predecessor, Mark Dayton. And you know, a bonding bill, it sounds like a pretty boring thing, but it really means a lot to the people who live in communities and the day-to-day quality of life that they'll experience. And this is a really good day for our community. This project has been a top priority for our county, for our city, and for MnDOT. And as the chief just talked about, this crossing had one of the highest potential rates for crashes to occur in the state due to the high traffic and high volume of trains. Trains would block the crossing from 6 to 8 minutes, sometimes as much as 25 minutes. And as somebody who drove through here a lot for door knocking and coffee with constituents at Caribou, I noticed. It's timely. But the inconvenience wasn't the reason to build the overpass. The reason to build the overpass was the emergency response times. We needed our first responders to be able to get through to deal with health emergencies when people needed them to be there. And this project only became a reality by partnership from the city, the county, the state, the county's Transit Improvement Board, and Burlington Northern Santa Fe. So despite the crazy end to the 2016 legislative session, we persisted. We had no bonding bill that year, but in 2017, we stuck together, we kept our nose to the grindstone, and we got something done. And Governor Mark Dayton deserves a lot of credit for being absolutely committed to railroad overpasses in those bonding bills of 2017 and 2018. This is a good example of how projects get done. People work together, they stick to it, and they keep at it even when it doesn't look like it's going to be successful. In order to get projects like this done, we cannot play games with the bonding bill. We all have to recognize there's investments that need to happen in the state of Minnesota, and we need to work together to make those investments, not let other political disagreements get in the way of building a future that our citizens deserve. So with that, thank you for having me here today, and I think the next speaker might be my old colleague, Mark Uglum.
Thank you. Actually, there's been one little change of order here. Representative Paul Torkelson showed up today, and we're grateful to have him here. He was instrumental on the bonding committee, and Representative Torkelson.
Well, thank you, John. Good afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful day. On my walk up here, I asked the guy, I think his name was Gordy, if it was this nice in Coon Rapids every day, and he said, yes, it is. So happy to be here. Last time I was here, we had a ride in that thing right there. That's when there was no bridge and there were trains going by, and I got a bird's eye view of the project. It got included in the 16 bill that hit a little bit of a rough spot in the Senate, but then in 17, virtually the same bill got passed. And this project is a great project because this project will save lives. This is really important, and I'm so happy to see it's done. I have a lot of other speakers. I will make it short, but congratulations on getting this project for Coon Rapids.
Thank you, Representative Torkelson. Next, Representative Mark Uglum served in the House of Representatives from 2013 to 2018 and was a big proponent of the project from the beginning. Mr. Uglum.
Thank you, John. It's nice to be retired from politics. But I tell you, it's very nice to be invited here today to do the ribbon cutting for this wonderful project. As a former mayor, I understand just how important it is for people that are sitting at a rail crossing for many, many minutes during rush hour and things. So this is a beautiful bridge for that. But it also is so important to our first responders. And that was the primary driving reason that we turned around and through a bipartisan effort, were able to get the funding for this wonderful project. And if there's anything that we need to do today, like we did before, is we need to support our first responders, our police, our fire. They're under duress, and we need each and every one of us to remember that every day and to help our people that are coming to the rescue every day of so many people that are in trouble. And unfortunately, it seems that that is not really reported like it should be. And I think that it should, because these are everyday heroes. And having an overpass like this makes it just a little easier for their very difficult job. So I'm glad I was a part of it. I'm glad I'm retired and not having to go over to St. Paul. But again, many people got behind this project, bipartisan support, and you see the result today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next, Senator Jerry Newton represents Coon Rapids and was a big proponent of the project. Senator Newton.
Thank you, Chief Pfeiffer. Thank you all for coming out. This is a great thing, and it's finally finished. We weren't sure. It just kept dragging on and on. This started off before I carried the bill in the Senate with a disagreement between myself and Commissioner Schulte. I don't remember if Scott remembers it, but the commissioner was looking for a bridge on Foley Boulevard, and I thought this was more centralized in a better area of the city. So I won this one, and Scott's going to have his bridge on Foley next year. But this is a great project, and one of the things we all know about the first responders, how important this is to first responders to be able to get from the north to the south of the city and have an area where you absolutely can be certain that you can get through. But also we have students and staff at Anoka Ramsey. We have people going to work and make appointments at Mercy Hospital. They all need a place to get through. And at any time, we can have trains blocking any one of the 10 crossings in Coon Rapids because they slow down to get into the yards in Minneapolis. So this is extremely important. The bridge on Foley next year will be equally important, but I want to thank everyone. It was really a pleasure working with Mark Uglum. We worked together on the Coon Rapids Dam as well. And to see Paul Torkelson up in the lift, I knew we had sold the bridge once we got him up there. So thank you all.
Thanks, Jerry. Now, Senator Jim Abler, he shared his support along the way, and he has a proclamation to share. Senator Abler.
Well, thanks. You know, actually the day is going to come when we don't even think about these things anymore, so I have faith in that. And what a time it is. And when you read the paper, you think there's nothing but consternation and arguing, and actually it turns out that people do work together and get things done. And there's a couple representatives here, Representative Scott and Zach Stevenson, and Kevin Parker is here for Senator Hoffman, who wishes he could be here, and a bunch of council members and the commissioners and mayors. And you know, and others who I'm not even going to try to list them all, but, you know, these things don't happen by themselves. People think a good idea is, why couldn't we just do that thing? And it takes a lot of work, a lot of money. It's actually all your money that runs all this stuff. And so just want to commend all the good citizens for what we do here. And we ourselves are citizens, and we're not always, we could use your advice along the way. So don't be shy to engage, because that really makes a difference, you know. And 15-year project seems like it happened overnight. Anyway, sometimes we like to commend things in the Senate, and this is a resolution on behalf of that from Senator Hoffman and Senator Newton and I. And by the way, Jerry and I ran against each other twice, but at the end you work together and you get things done and become good friends. And that's what America and Minnesota is, and on a good day. So I'll stop the lecturing, but it's just impressive when something actually happens, you know. Anyway, whereas a Hanson Boulevard railroad overpass will improve the public safety and convenience not only for the surrounding community, but also for the entire metropolitan area, and is cause for special recognition of those involved. And whereas increased railroad traffic in Coon Rapids has had a profound impact on the city and its residents and raised concerns regarding public safety, response times as a result of that congestion, and the area identified as the busiest segment of rail line in the state with an average of 81 trains a day, that's a lot, resulting in blocked traffic between 2 and 3 hours a day, and it could have been 4 hours, they were thinking. Whereas a key team of engineering and planning staff, actually, if you had a hand in doing this, any hand at all, would you raise your hands, because we didn't say all your names, but the staff, I mean, look around all these people. Anyway, so you're the key team, including representatives from Coon Rapids, Anoka County, Coon Rapids Fire, BNSF, and Bolton and Mink. Committed to regular meetings, which had to be a great time, to provide guidance, review technical analysis, and offer recommendations for timely and successful completion. And whereas the project management team benefited from the significant contributions of Matthew Parent, Andrew Witter, Gina Pizzo, Jane Rose, Randy Bettinger, Dan Fry, Tom Himmer, Mark Novinsky, John Piper, Bentley Tomlin, Eric Johnson, Justice Mitch, and a whole lot of other people that weren't on this list. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Senate of the State of Minnesota commemorates completion of the Hanson Boulevard Railroad Overpass and extends gratitude to those involved in the project. And so, you know, I'm not sure if you're having a prayer, but may God bless this this piece of bridge. I guess there's 3 bridges, and those who travel on it and underneath it. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, now, Mona Dolman was a Commissioner of Public Safety under former Governor Dayton's administration. Now with the Department of Justice, she is serving as a U.S. Marshal for the District of Minnesota. It was a conversation between the two of us at a Metro Chiefs meeting that helped start things going on this project. Ms. Dolman.
Thank you, Chief Piper, and thank you, everyone who has attended here. It's actually just great to be out here in Coon Rapids today and see so many people that I had the great fortune of working with at the legislature and in local law enforcement. This is just a great day for public safety, and I can't tell you how awesome it is to be standing on this bridge knowing that, as the chief mentioned, the first conversation was him approaching me about this, and now to see this completed today is just absolutely incredible. As the chief mentioned, this started as a conversation. We both attended the Metro Fire Chief's monthly meeting at Jack's Cafe in Minneapolis, and he came up to me and he talked about the problem that they were having here in Coon Rapids. But he didn't come just with a problem, he also came with a solution. And if any of you know Chief Piper, and I know many of you do here, you know that if you don't follow through on a commitment you make to him, or follow up on a commitment, he's going to call you, and he's going to keep calling you until you do. And so I knew, I'd known that about him, and I knew that when he came to me with this situation here in Coon Rapids, that it was something that the governor needed to hear about. And so I did. I relayed the information to Governor Dayton, and the rest is history, and here we are today standing on this bridge. I've been in law enforcement for over 38 years, and I have worked the front lines where you're responding to help somebody in need. And there's nothing more frustrating from a firefighter, an EMS provider, or a police officer if you can't get to the other side to help the person that has called for help. And so this is a great day for Coon Rapids. This will change public safety for the people who live here, who work here, who play here. And I am so grateful to have been invited and grateful to have been a part of this project. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mona. Next, Scott Schulte is the chair of the Anoka County Board of Commissioners. He played a vital role in securing funding partners and moving this project along. Commissioner Schulte.
Well, thank you, Chief Piper, and thank each and every one of you for being here. It is a good afternoon. I am Scott Schulte, chair of the Anoka County Board of Commissioners. We're standing here today on this bridge because of a strong partnership between several stakeholders who recognize the need for a grade-separated overpass. A project of this size and scope doesn't happen by mistake. It takes a lot of people working together diligently. It seems sometimes that when you draw a plan, you say, okay, that's great, let's go build that. But then you look at the price tag. We figured out early on that this was going to be expensive, about $25+ million. We also knew that it would take partners. Approximately $12.6 million came from the state rail grade separation bond funds. That's thanks to our legislature, both the Senate and the House, and all their hard work. Without the dedication and passion of several elected officials, this funding, which accounts for more than half of the project cost, would not have been distributed. BNSF allocated around $1 million. That was double their normal amount for a project like this. So special thanks to Burlington Northern Santa Fe. About $4.7 million came in county state aid dollars. The city of Coon Rapids kicked in $1.1 million, a real good partner to work with on this project. The county's Transit Improvement Board funds accounted for approximately $4.2 million. That's a little-known group that no longer exists, but I do have to call out and thank Commissioner Matt Look, who served with me on that board, and we fought tooth and nail to get any penny we could for this project, because it was essentially taking it away from the light rail in downtown Minneapolis and St. Paul to get it up here to benefit the safety of North Star Rail that runs underneath this bridge. So that was a lot of work, a lot of long meetings, and a pretty tough drive every second Tuesday or whatever it was. And then Anoka County allotted additional $1.4 million county dollars into this from their transportation funds. Those of you that have driven through this part of Coon Rapids over the years know of the congestion that vehicle and train traffic can cause and the resulting safety issues. Before the construction of this overpass, the only grade-separated crossing of the BNSF rail line in Coon Rapids was up at Round Lake Boulevard, near Riverdale, about 5 miles from here. Unfortunately, this oftentimes had a devastating effect on response times for emergency personnel. We have a number of pictures on file of rescue trucks or ambulances sitting on one side of a train waiting for that train to go. And sometimes that train would stop and then the emergency vehicle would have to turn around and try and find a different route across that rail, not knowing when that train would get moving again. This new overpass will greatly mitigate that obstacle and improve response times by minutes, not seconds, minutes. When it comes to providing emergency services, finding ways to respond more quickly is immensely important, and doing so results in saving lives. I want to take one more minute to just quickly call out my colleagues. 5 of us of the 7 of the county board members are here today. We have Commissioner Julie Brasted from District 2, Commissioner Matt Look from District 1, we have Commissioner Mandy Meisner from District 4, and Commissioner Mike Gamache from District 5, who also represents part of Coon Rapids. Again, thank you for coming here today for this dedication ceremony. Oh, I should stop and thank all my former colleagues at the City of Coon Rapids who I worked with as a council member. Mayor Cook, who you'll hear from shortly, and the new council members at Coon Rapids. Without their dedication to this project and their funding, we wouldn't be here today. This is a big safety issue, and they addressed it head on. Again, thank you all for coming today. This overpass will serve our region well for years to come by lessening traffic impact and improving safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Next, Jerry Cook is the mayor of Coon Rapids, and having lived in this city his whole life, he has waited for many trains at this location before the overpass. He was very active in promoting this project and providing leadership. Mayor Cook.
All right, so the new ones that didn't get mentioned, it's Councilmember Brad Raskowiak, there's Councilmember Bill Kicker, Councilmember Jenny Geisler. I don't recall who else was here. Jenny Geisler was there, okay. All right, so thank you. All right, pretty much everything's been said, but I still get my 2 minutes, so I'll run through that quick here. This is a big thing. Over the years, so much time has been lost sitting and waiting for trains. The lost revenue from business and trade people stuck waiting for trains, to the person that just wanted to make a quick trip to the grocery store and found themselves stuck for 20 minutes at the crossing, either on the way or coming back with their frozen goods melting in the back seat. All of that can be written off as an inconvenience or even a frustration. However, as they say, things would get real when it was our first responders that were stuck waiting for a train. When you would look and see the flashing lights of a fire truck, squad, or ambulance stuck on one side of the crossing waiting for a passing train or parked train or trains, we knew there was someone somewhere likely having one of their worst days waiting for the help to arrive. The construction of this bridge put me in a somewhat difficult position, as my mom's house is right below the bridge, or as some of our friends would comment, and later my mom took to saying, I was making my mom live under a bridge. I have to say how thankful I am that this bridge was open, albeit only one lane, and the route to get to 108th lane, which is one of the other bridges underneath that they were talking about, that one was a little bit, let's say, confusing. But on June 16th, when my mom collapsed outside in her yard, having suffered a major stroke, and with our top-rated Mercy Hospital and our EMTs and 2 of our 3 fire stations on the opposite side of the railroad tracks, the fact that no one responding was delayed by a train was huge. Combine a timely arrival with the skilled first responders and fabulous Mercy Hospital we are so blessed to have locally. I'm happy to say that my mom went on to celebrate her 100th birthday in July and is here with us today to celebrate the opening of the Hanson Overpass. Thank you to everyone that helped in this project. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Now, and with so many partners on this project, cooperation from BNSF Railway was also vital to making this project a reality. Lydia Bjorgi is with BNSF. Ms. Bjorgi.
I definitely can't outdo a 100th birthday, so happy birthday. And I'm glad you're well in here. Thank you, Chief Piper, and thanks for everyone who's here today, particularly the partners that spoke before me. It's not only a great day outside in Minnesota, it's a great day for vehicle safety. At BNSF, safety really is the most important thing we do, and crossing safety is really a fundamental piece of that. BNSF prioritizes crossing safety and could not be successful in ensuring safe interactions with the public without not only our thousands of employees who work on the railroad every day in Minnesota, but without the partnership of communities like Coon Rapids and others. So to all the elected officials who spoke today and others in the community, thank you. Like I said, BNSF is committed to grade crossing safety on many fronts, and that commitment has really shown in the numbers. Grade crossing incidents, so collisions, have reduced over 70% in the last 25 years. That's a lot of lives. And today we're really celebrating a milestone, another milestone in safety by opening this bridge. The grade separation keeps rail traffic flowing, keeps vehicles and people moving, emergency responders moving efficiently, but most importantly, it prevents trains and people or trains and vehicles from colliding. And that is the safest at-grade crossing is one that doesn't exist. So we're happy here today to have this grade-separated crossing opening. At BNSF, safety is the most important thing we do, safety for our team, safety for our crew members, safety for communities like Coon Rapids and others in the 28 states that we run through. We're committed to continuing to work towards safety with our state and local leaders that are here today. Congratulations, Chief Piper. And we like to keep things on track at the railroad, so I'll leave it there.
Okay, I'm on page 3 of 3. This is it. Let me get this in the right spot here. Before we cut the ribbon, I'd like to extend a thank you to a few more people. Thank you to all of the Anoka County staff, City of Coon Rapids staff, contractors, and consultants who worked on this project. Many, many hours went into the thoughtful planning and building of this bridge. And thanks to public comments, plans also changed along the way to modify the bridge design where needed and have various access points for the neighborhood and pedestrians. So thank you to everyone involved in that process. I would like to thank Kathy Tinglestead, who is a former state representative that's here today. She provided great insight into the legislative process and often answered many of my questions. Thank you, Kathy. I'm sure you're glad I'm done with this project. Next, thank you to Stephanie Ring, who handles communications for the City of Coon Rapids. She handled a variety of details throughout this project and coordinated the state bonding tours, of course, today and all that. Thanks, Steph. Steph, wherever, there you are. And last, and thanks to City Manager Matt Stemmetel, who supported this project and supported my pursuit to continue to push for this improvement in our city. Thanks, Matt, wherever you're at. That concludes the remarks for today. We'll now have the ribbon cutting, which is actually a fire hose, police line tape, and medical gauze to represent the 3 public safety agencies. So now, you just stay where you're at, and we're going to do the ribbon cutting.
You're going to see here we have Chief Piper. He's not going to cut that fire hose. He's going to twist that fancy connector because us taxpayers don't want to pay for a fire hose. And we got Chief Wise from Coon Rapids. He's going to cut that yellow police tape. And the gauze will be cut by the chief from the Alina ambulance area. So with that, as soon as we are ready, everybody stay poised. This could be a long time. They told me to start counting down at 90, but I'm gonna cut it short, and we're gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cut the ribbon and the hose. Come on, firefighters are supposed to be first. Good job.
Okay, we will now have the emergency vehicles drive through this area and over the bridge to represent the ease of mobility and improved public safety response times, thanks to the removal of the at-grade crossing. So if we have everybody up on the sidewalk or over on the median, okay, then after the vehicles drive off, you're welcome to walk back or shuttle back to the Epiphany parking lot for refreshments and conversation. Thank you so much for coming today, and thanks to everyone for their support of this project.